you know, combined heads, you have a pretty fantastic Counter-Strike mind going on right there. So I think that can only do them good things as well going forward. So even if they were to run into a couple of issues here versus Red Reserve, depending on map, and they're struggling maybe adapting on the fly, then you have a great fallback card as well.
Yeah, it's fantastic news for them to have him behind them.
Yeah.
Let's jump straight into predictions. I'll jump over to Jacob first for this one. Who do we think is going to come out on top in a best-of-3 series?
I think Heroic is going to win it. I'm not too sure if it's going to be 2-1 or 2-0. I could see it go 2-0, and I could see it go 2-1. Based on the veto, basically. Red Reserve did look, or YHEMHB sound pretty confident in their train, you know, and Heroic haven't been too great on train, so maybe that's one of the maps they practiced a lot before ESL Cologne and we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
Who knows? So I think either way it's going to be a Heroic victory. It's going to be 2-0 or 2-1.
Yeah. I feel a little bit more certain that we're going to see a 2-0. In favor of Heroic. I think one of the tricks up their sleeve should probably be trained. You mentioned the fact that they haven't really found their groove without Freeze on that op. I think that he was especially important on their T sets. Even though he was a very stationary opper, or was a very stationary opper, he was able to find opening picks time and time again out towards yard, and we haven't really seen Yugi have the same kind of impact on him. But that's, you know, if it's evident to us, it's probably evident to them. So I would assume that that's something they had worked on. So if we didn't get to see it at Cologne, I think that might be something we get to see now.
Yeah, I'm going to have to be on board with you for this one. I feel like Heroic are definitely going to come out on top. But ultimately, I'd love to see a great game of Counter-Strike. So I'm going to go for 2-1 because I just want to see great CS. I think the game's ready. We are ready to jump straight in. Thank you guys for your analysis and pre-game insights. Lauren, Scrawny, can you hear me?
I can. I was almost worried we weren't going to have a little chat, James. I was getting a little upset.
No, always chat. I'm always up for a chat.
Good stuff.
How you doing?
No, I'm not too bad. I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be an interesting clash of styles. You've got the super puggy Swedes against some very, you know, drilled-in tactics, known for their tactical ability on the Heroic side. So I think it's going to be quite a fun one. Yeah, I definitely think so as well. I mean, I feel like, again, Train's going to be that little bit of a question mark, but I can't help but feel like Heroic have looked so good this tournament that they might just run away with it. Yeah, so unanimous across the board where you all think Heroic. Yeah, just a little bit. Well, so, you know, I'd like to be proven wrong. Well, it's time to see because the players are ready to jump straight in. So, guys, take it away. Thank you very much, guys on the desk. And yeah, I very much echo the sentiment that they seem to have. This matchup should sit well with Heroic. But let's bear in mind, I wouldn't have put Red Reserve, you know, initially looking at, before you break down the whole bracket system and how it kind of came through, I wouldn't have put Red Reserve in this position. I thought it was going to be CLG, and to be fair, to a degree, it should have been CLG, aside from a couple of fumbles. One. You know, I'm a Kusta fangirl, but seeing that, I'm just like, oh no. Yeah, it's a shame. But it was what it was. That doesn't matter. It's to this point. So I think that overall, there's definitely that dark horse vibe with Red Reserve. They've really proven a lot of people wrong to get to this point. Yeah, I thought that even with their online results, that they come into this tournament and still have kind of like that lacking individual prowess. But I saw really good things from Relaxa, most notably on Cobblestone. He had some really serious op play that impressed me thoroughly. So I think that now Red Reserve have at least proven to us they have that individual skill, that they're able to go toe-in-toe with some very solid players. I mean, mistakes were made, but CLG still have individual skill, and that was a very close series. So Red Reserve are the real deal. But whether or not they can survive a test like Heroic, time will tell. Yeah, Heroic, as said, I'm keeping eyes on Train. This kind of sets the tone for the rest of the match. If it's a bit one-sided, if Heroic come out swinging, you've got to feel, okay, the rest of the game's going to go that way. That's where they prove it. If we're going to see a battle, if we see a real war between these two, it has to start now on Train. Red Reserve have proven they have ability, they have skill, they have individuals who can shine in various ways. Between Freddy, Relaxa, Rusty even having his moments, and of course Michael, the man with true flair, and Hampus at the helm. They've proven they can deserve to be on this stage. They've made it thus far. How much further can they really go? Is the finals even a possibility? We're going to find out here on Train. Heroic on the T side to kick things off, and Red Reserve have to receive what they have in store. Heroic, though, immediately just heading out towards that B bomb site. Hampus going to spot it from afar. Tries to hold the cross, but instead he takes one to the noggin. Down to 23 points of health as now Relax's drop. That's Yugi with the entry, but Freddy Frog finds the trade frag. Nico up next, just pummeling these CTs with Glock fire. However, shots going slightly astray. There's Eastertag, there's Modi, there is Heroic across the kill feed. Hampus gonna find himself at least one more frag, a sliver of success.
but a 1v3 clutch now on the table.
YHEMHB, I think the big thing we're going to be harking on about here is the individual ability that Red Reserve have. So when you get to these out-of-plant situations, when it gets to that individual ability coming through, that's where you want to keep your eyes towards how this goes. Can those retakes become potential? But with the aggression that came out through Heroic to pretty much control Connector and not allow anyone in, wasn't going to happen. And YHEMHB cannot land the shot. It's Modi there. 3 alive, bomb plant, Modi with 2. Good stuff. He's straight on the rifle. These guys are taking no prisoners. Now, this is something that was brought up, actually. It was quite... You know, I kind of forget that Modi, for a while, was kind of left out from a lot of the Swedish teams, even though he is not the same as the rest of the Heroic side. He's not quite from the same place. He speaks the language, he's fine. But the point is that he was left out of a lot of the Swedish rosters initially. It does seem as though it's a tech pause coming in. So again, it's not tactical, nothing like that. But yeah, speaking of Modi, you know, very early in CSGO, you know, he was around the very early days in the early forms of teams, and he was with some of the greats in the end. He kind of faded away a little bit. People discussed his attitude. Was it right? You know, is there something there that, you know, didn't sit well? But he's found a home here. He's found a real place for himself. And you start to see that brilliance. Put him on the extremities of a map. Put him on Mirage. Put him playing through Palace. Put him anywhere you want. He finds room to work. You speak about Happy in the way he lurks, for example, that's maybe sometimes more passive than it is to be useful. I know Sponge did a whole discussion on this, is how to be a good lurker, how to be an active lurker, when to find that room. And it's very theoretical. It's all about timing and feeling. So the big problem is that you see Happy sometimes misses that timing. Sometimes he's not quite there, but sometimes it works out perfectly. We saw a round on Train actually just purely coming through what Happy was able to do. So it's very hit and miss. But Modi, for me, is probably one of the better ones who feels out the timing. He can be a real nuisance, constantly keeping presence throughout the map, never letting people out there. So eyes towards him in this matchup for me. I'm always a big fan of what he can achieve. But on the other side, you know, pick whichever player you fancy. You know what I mean? Like, these guys can certainly put up weight against them. Individually, they are very powerful. So tactically, you got to sit with Heroic, right? They should be able to get on the sites. They should be get the plants down. They should be able to keep the numbers. That should always be theirs. But it's when the retakes come in, when that individual firepower starts to be put to question or put to task, you should be able to see Red Reserve bring up a challenge.
You'd hope they actually get to put up a challenge. Again, they were kind of graced this opportunity, and they'd love to make the most of it, but I mean, I think we got a prime example of that active lurking from Modi on their overpass game. Yeah. At the same time as finding an active example of their tactical prowess with the ability of, you know, executions and proper rotations. Now, of course, this is not overpass, this is Train. And still, though, it's going to be a lot of space and a lot of opportunity for Heroic to yet again show us those exact options. So.
Also, Estag has some great binds. You guys can't see it at home because they have the chat turned off, but it's just brilliant. So get his config. They are lovely binds. I appreciate a person with good binds. They are very funny. I have them too. Not the exact same ones. Play we haven't mentioned much of, Yugi. Now, because normally Freeze, when he was back in this lineup, you know, Freeze got a lot of flack, right? There's no disputing that. Freeze was never, you know, one of those players you get all the praise sung for them as an AWPer, but he was solid. He was quite a passive AWPer. He held angles. He played it out in a very methodical, very slow manner, which, you know, it doesn't get you the frag highlights, but it gets you the rounds. And that's what made Heroic quite a good Train team for quite some time. It's one of his best maps. We haven't seen that yet really come through for Yugi, but he's brilliant on other maps too. Yugi, you saw him on Inferno during Cologne. That was that crazy 3K he pulled off by playing by the pillar by Dark. Yep. He's one of those that has the flair. He's got that real kind of like style to it, really so quick on the AWP. So keep eyes on him. If he can find place with this team on this map, things get a little different. That's where things get a little bit scary. Maybe they could become a bit more of a Train team, because it was one of the tactical base maps, you know, the ones that all the slower teams that like this sort of map play that Heroic never really had, which was quite weird. It was a little bit like a missing piece. We'll see if they've maybe refined that in the upcoming days. We're back underway. It was just a little issue with the coach's headset. It's all resolved. It's all good. And we're into the bye.
The bye for Heroic and the pistols for Red Reserve. They've got themselves that triple Deeg and a single flashbang on Rusty. Of course, even a single bit of utility can be used effectively, can turn the tide of a single fight. That one single fight nets you a single gun. And from there, who knows what happens. But it's going to be over towards ramp that they find their first challenge. YHEMHB quickly overwhelmed as Snappy shuts him down. It's Modi from a distance and from above to find himself that next frag. Michaelelli hits the dirt. And Modi's just going to continue forward here. He's got no fear in the world. Again, we saw Heroic get very aggressive on that pistol round, just looking to confidently assert themselves. And they have done that once more.
Yep. And now last two alive, Relaxer and Freddy. The Brothers Grimm is their new name at this point. They look for opportunities. A couple of players low might be able to take something away. Maybe a gun or two would have been great. There's 2 rifles up, remember. That would have been a nice bit of prize at the end of this rather dark tunnel, but at the moment, unlikely. But the 3rd round will not be much better off for Red Reserve, so why not just take these over? Keep those upgraded pistols. You're not going to get them if you did die. So, again, also, just also a note, I actually asked S-Tag how he wants his name. He said, I don't care. So, he doesn't actually mind. Now, if you're going to put a 3 in it, you're leaving it up in the air for us, all right? It gets tricky, but he didn't mind. I think he said it was his dad's nickname at some point, so that's kind of cool. If it was something he just picked up and ran with. So, anyway, that aside, we can probably find out after this game if you really do desire, if they actually do win the game. Otherwise, it'd be a bit awkward to ask him those questions, wouldn't it? But a Deagle and a P250 is all Red Reserve have to hold back the entirety of Heroic, who, again, didn't have to reinvest in much. No. UMP's up, utility there.
Couple of grenades, really all they had to replace, so $1,000 worth of pistols for Red Reserve. Really nothing much going on. Red Reserve at least just trying to kind of pry into T-Con. So a little bit of map presence, a little bit of information sprinkled on their hold. And that's exactly what this will be, a hold on that A-bomb site. We've got all 5 players for the Swedes here. And we actually have Heroic starting to push in. Had that frag gone their way, it could have been something, but Nico quickly quells that double pistol play. Rusty finding one, but it's Eastatag to find the trade frag. Snappy through the smoke. But look at this damage, so much done. One of those situations where Hampus is going to go for the knife. That's money in the pocket. No shame in that. Not whatsoever.
What else are you going to do with just a USPS? Gets the knife kill, costs a little bit of money for the other side, and also brilliant amounts for him. I wonder if that might be able to allow an AWP to come through. He hasn't bought it directly, but Relaxer and Michael, so straight to the double AWP here on the CT side. And we do get to Yugi for Heroic there as well, picking that one up. But overall, actually, I guess you can say it, weapon-wise, a better buy for Red Reserve now coming into this. The UMP staying over with Nico, might just play it in towards Pop, have a little look around, plenty of opportune moments for it to be able to put to play. And Hampus the one playing that kind of contact piece towards that ramp. So as soon as he sees it, maybe puts out the smoke, could fall off, depending how he feels. But they are doing a 4-1 here, so it puts a lot of pressure on the in-game leader, who doesn't really see much on the other side of things. You don't often see IGLs playing the solo sites. It's always quite tricky for them to keep track of everything going on. You need a lot of voices there to keep yourself well informed, but Relax is going to come over, join him eventually, and now they have 2 by B.
One of which further back, of course, because he is going to be the opper. Relaxa watching above, leaving Hampus to keep the ramp in his hands. There's the flash, there's the frag. Relaxa takes him down, and he's going to spot some ankles. Hampus falling into cover, finds more damage dealt. That's a kill, and the bomb dropped in the open. It's unretrievable now, as Hampus is able to find Snappy. So Yugi and Eastatag, all that's left, make it only Eastatag. Yugi cannot retreat. Mikey Lele shuts him down. So Red Reserve finding themselves a gun round 1 with convincing fashion. 5 players up at the end of that. That's exactly what they need. They're going to start to get that economy rolling, get a bit of an economic buffer, and with that, we could see a very one-sided half. If, of course, they can convert. If Heroic don't bounce back quickly.
And especially with that double AWP, if they got picked up in this, they got picked apart, the money kind of falls to pieces. But Hampus having a great time on that site, really finding effect. Now, Heroic can go back in. They'll have plenty of options. If anything, you want to find a bit of a silver lining to these guys against them is the fact that they'll always have depth. Now, Rusty goes for initial, maybe, I guess, information play, but he merely finds one opponent flashed up, bullied, and broken around. 5v4 now. A little bit trickier for Red Reserve, but still very, very possible.
Michael just holding the left side again. He's got support just to his left. It's going to be Maudie creeping around over towards upper, but because he's all alone, he wants to make sure he stays alive. You'd hate to see them lose that 5v4. Meanwhile, Maudie just so cautious that someone's going to get aggressive. That's not the case. Red Reserve just leaving Hampus again alone at B. Not on site, but rather above. It's Relaxa with the op to find himself the next. So this is a 4v4. Equalized out is the kill count. Eastatag lit as well. So that's a health advantage here for Red Reserve. Now Heroic starting to gear up, starting to get this execution rolling. Relaxa gonna get caught out, but no, the no-scope connects, and then the flick to follow suit. Snappy, almost joins forces with another corpse, but it's Yugi and Madi still up here. 2v4. They're running out of time. 25 seconds on the clock. Madi with an opening, but there's the tag. Relaxa holds them in, and that's a 4K already. The ace is on the table, and it's gonna be Hampus with the last one.
I need to see a replay of this guy. What an AWP potential this guy has. Incredible power going through an angle he should not be able to stay alive at. He got pushed there at the right time. The T-side did arguably the right thing. Catching him like this. Where's the shot coming through the S-tag? He just missed enough to allow the opportunity. The second shot was outstanding. And even the leg coming through as well, just to really keep him in that fight. Well, that's your reminder. That's your notice. Red Reserve certainly deserve to be here. They are proving their power and potential at this point. Snappy going to make his way forward, but good positioning from Rusty. Does get overwhelmed. What comes through? Michael Ailey needs to be careful. Doesn't get charged down by pistols. There's no armor, really, on the vast majority of Heroic. Madi has some, so that gun can be dropped across to him. But no, Yugi wants it all himself, and why not? 2 kills now. Surely this doesn't become possible. The jump makes Michael Ailey change the angle he's watching, and Yugi strikes. That's 3 now. We're down to 3v2. Limited armor, limited purchase from Heroic, but somehow pulling it back to this moment. But where do they take this now?
Yeah, speaking of pulling back, they do not commit to that B bomb site. They're actually quite ambiguous. Just sitting to the old train. And lying in wait, giving a bit of time here for Red Reserve to begin questioning themselves. Unfortunately for Freddy Frog, he is so committed to upper now. But then again, he can just crouch here. He can just creep. Wait for the confirmation on the plant, which will have to happen eventually. 40 seconds left. This is a good idea. Madi's got a gun and Kevlar. Yugi with 3 kills, a grenade and bomb. Neither of those players want to go down, so send Nico forward. Let him pry for information, maybe even kills, but it's Freddy to reveal himself with 1. Madi down. There goes Nico, and so Yugi needs the ace. He's honing in on the man above. Has the cover for the plant. And the clutch opportunity, he's able to spray down the first one. It is just going to be Relaxa with the op up close. Yugi looking for the ace. And Relaxa's on the side, he does it! Yugi! 5 frags in the round and a big one for Heroic. They deny Red Reserve another.
What an absolute animal. Every single kill was just incredible. Let's watch this one from... He's already got the M4 here. Fighting Hampus on a pixel of a peek, gets allowed into that second shot. This one changes all. He stays alive enough, keeps the HP high to be able to take that final fight with, I think it was like 8 bullets in the clip left, so he had to land that pretty cleanly. Anyway, still a double up for Red Reserve, but far more fragile is their money. You can see already Hampus maybe going to make a play for early information. He does have the support of Relaxa down below him. Towards that lower ramp. Relaxa now, spotting up. Doesn't really see much as Rusty's been having a bit of a rough time holding down Ivy. Heroic do love to pressure it. But they're not going to make an early move. They're taking their time here. Bit of utility spent, forcing Freddy away, and actually quite low as well, down to 26 HP. And Heroic start to wind this up, start to get the map control building. Snappy, making noise, ensuring that they hear this and they know that this player's here. Because look at the information gathered over by B. You already have players moving up. I think Relax is the one who's actually pushed very far forward. So he gets to see it all. The call gets made and they just increase numbers on this A site because the smokes come in and the play starts to build.
Madi's going to get fired out, though. He needs to commit, and as he does, he takes an assist. It's Nico with a headshot. Michaelelli with an op, able to find one. Rusty up close thanks to the sidearm. And there's Michaelelli with another. This op paying dividend, but Snappy flicks back. And that's a man advantage to Heroic's favor. With a bomb planted as well. Hampus and Michaelelli on this retake. Michaelelli removed from the top of green. So Hampus ever close to the bomb, but targets aplenty in front of him. And a Molotov for Snappy. That could ensure the plant. And there we have it. Madi with another frag. Heroic with a 5th.
And smiles all around for Heroic. Breaking back in is always good. You don't want to let them build up on that, on the CT side at all. It gets them confident, it gets them comfortable. They lose the, well, Red Reserve lost the first 3, and then as soon as the guns came in, they're like, all right, we're here now, we're fine. So it's a nice reminder to Heroic that it's certainly not going to be that case for long. Getting a couple back already. Snappy well aware of the money situation coming in for Red Reserve. Going to be trying to build up his own bank. And a 5-man stack towards A here from Red Reserve. Hoping they can put those USPSs to work. Now, they have before, I wouldn't doubt them. We saw some brilliance coming through. Well, not necessarily to win rounds, but certainly enough to keep the money. Looking a little bit wary on occasion for Heroic. You can see Nico scared of what's around the corner. No flashes to play Rusty in, but he's got a pretty deep angle on this, so it's going to be hard to be dug out from.
However, again, because they are unarmored, Nico should be able to just skewer everybody here. The entire vanilla pistol from Red Reserve. I mean, this is one of those situations where you kind of write them off and say they shouldn't find anything whatsoever. And they haven't yet. Nico able to find Mike Galelli. He just completely obliterates inside of T-Con. As expected, sure, Relax is going to deal some damage, but they all come up empty-handed. So, Heroic able to convert another point onto the board, and they do so in convincing fashion. Not costly whatsoever. Even making sure to not use much utility there. Just a couple pop flashes over towards Ivy's side. Nice, clean round. Keeping things fresh.
Very, very frugal. And well done to Nico there. Now 6-2, starting to build up here. If you want this to be a close first half, you want this round on the board for Red Reserve. If you're a Heroic fan, you want this to go all their way. And Yugi, he's starting to have a look. And oh, big deny comes in from Snappy, but a good trade from Hampers.
Yeah,
only gets away on 5 HP though.
Very true. At least netting something there from the push. Of course, putting himself in a really tough spot. He falls immediately back. They're just going to completely gamble on this A site. No. Excuse me, Freddy Frog's going to take his position. So playing off of the HP at this point, Hampus knows I can't solo hold. 5% health. Nice little angle here from Yugi. He drops Rusty to 3 HP. Game of millimeters. But still alive. Little boost over. Trying to stay dynamic as they hold that 4-point lead. They want the 5th. And luckily for Heroic, it's both health and utility low on Red Reserve.
Oh, the nade. Claiming Rusty's life. Michael Ailey, Hampus, and Freddy to try and keep this one building, but Modi senses it. He knows what's up, but Hampus still has a chance. No, Modi with another shot coming in. Freddy a mile away from being able to change much of this round, and it might be a consideration just to save. See if you can maybe find use for that M4 another time, because at the moment, Heroic are going from strength to strength. It looks like every single player starting to really build through. Modi having a big impact so far.
11-4, solid. I mean, we saw Modi have a hell of a game on Overpass as well in one of the 2 maps we've seen thus far from Heroic. Again, there was that conversation at one point just discussing how he is kind of momentum-based. If he has a slower start, then, you know, it doesn't always follow through. That one game on Overpass, he had an acceptable start, but then really kicked it into overdrive to the second half. Here on Train, it's Modi from the get-go. So this is now number 7 for Heroic. Sure enough, they've allowed Freddy Frog to hang on to his M4. But that's all they're going to get in this one. Red Reserve. 2 frags, 1 gun moving forward, and a lot of work ahead of them.
They could have chased that down. If they took that away, Red Reserve would be, you know, completely without cash, but, well, without much to play with. And they've got spare cash. They're up to, what, 7K, 9K, 6? There's a lot still on the Heroic side. But maybe just feeling like, there's no need, it's fine. Let's not waste our economy. Let's keep ours going strong. Not allow Freddy to feel any confidence at all. Ooh, Nico with a missed flash. Going to be a little later than wanted. Might slow down the hit. No, S-Tag's already out. He's going to be just piling on through. They just want to quicken the pace. Go together. Make it count. Oh, a little bit of a team kill. Snappy, get out of my way, he screams. But he can't be moved at this point as the final man, Hampus, is found. But he does at least strike cleanly on 1 to a degree. 20 HP and a bit of armor, but a gun removed. But as said already, the money's pretty robust for Heroic. They've started to build a very nice economy up here. And Hampus, I don't know if he's going to be able to get a gun out of this.
Yeah, unfortunately, he just kind of finds himself alone and fades away from the 1 kill he does get. I do like the fact that he's actually going for the long con, playing all the way over towards Ivy. You hope, of course, that Heroic maybe have a bit of a mind lapse, somebody caught with a knife out or just looking the wrong direction. And that's really all he can play for. 20 points of health, no kit. Unfortunately for Red Reserve, this is really getting out of hand. I mean, lopsided halves on Train do happen. Generally not on the T side. This is now going to be a 6-point lead. Hampus at the last second. No, sir. Denied. Nico finds him.
No. Big round again for Red Reserve. Finally have some money after feeling like they've been skint for a while, and it is what it is. It's not the end of the world. Snappy only had a Mac 10 anyway. He was there just to build up money. It's not great when you get team killed, but it's not going to change everything. Double AWP, instant reply from Red Reserve. Both AWPs as well towards A. And this is a quick take towards B, at least towards for Modi. He's going to try and get control going fast, just purely with that molly, the positioning, the flashes to allow him through. If there was any aggression coming up towards upper, he'd have met it well. Relaxer spraying in. No one there. A little further back. Pretty much just a default here for Heroic.
Relaxer spraying with the M4, not that AWP. I mean, that's what we really saw him have most success with, I'd argue, throughout this weekend. But regardless, Freddy Frog's going to hang on to it.
They might have just
kind of the
switched
same
seats.
person.
Yeah, they just switched seats and no one knows. It's just the ultimate troll, really, isn't it?
Would that be against the rules?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't think it often becomes an issue, but...
What a unique situation.
Yeah.
Here we have Heroic again, as you said, just kind of putting into their default. Molotovs every which way. Relaxa still in the fray as Freddy Frog holds the site. No targets present themselves, so they're hearing noise. They know something's going on. Progress is being made for Heroic. But nothing further than that. That's a great flashbang. Blinds all 3 players on site. Istatak going to come out afterwards, and that's where they get knocked down. Great hold from Red Reserve. They find 3 frags. Now they take 4. It is just Yugi. Heroic dissipate as they attempt the entry in. Yugi misses the flick shot, and so he's coming up empty-handed. 10 seconds left to play off of. It's either hide or fight. And he will continue to push on in. It costs him. Relaxa from above finds the 3rd round for Red Reserve. Of course, they've been able to stop the bleeding for now. But does this just result in a reset?
Well, that's the scary thing, isn't it? CT side economy is something that can be a very punishing element, but good positioning here. The flash was, I guess, a little early. It was a great flash, but no one went off it quickly enough. Allowed Relaxa complete freedom. No trades came through for Heroic, and the final bit of punishment there. And now a new look. Relaxer's got the AWP. Gonna go for that play towards B. Could be met with some force here. Already a couple of players. The molly burns. He waits to see if anyone will peek into it, but no. And that pretty much stems that little bit of aggression to start off with. But this looks like a B hit so far. Already 2 players taken over by the box halls. Modi so far forward.
Fortunately for Red Reserve, they're playing a little cautious here. Keeping eyes over towards Ivy, but not pushing for any information, not getting up into the face of T-Con. They try it versus the pistol rounds when they have literally nothing to lose, but of course, what are they going to contest with only sidearms? It's in these rounds, the ones where Heroic are allowed to do what they want and assert themselves with weaponry, that we really see them pull ahead. But again, that hard reset, it's in the cards, just not yet on the table. First line of defense is in the form of Hampus, who does still have that Molotov and the flashbang to boot. But here comes the execution. A volley of grenades into the bomb site. Hampus gonna deal damage but not take Modi down. He's afforded an escape as he falls further back, but that's the bomb now dropped and fully in the open. Hampus still just standing towards the site. Snappy clearing smoke. He has been dealt with. Michaelelli up close. And Hampus still to the back of Spools. This is now the CTs across the kill feed. Modi all that's left. Excellently done from Red Reserve. Once more, successfully holding Heroic at bay.
Whenever it goes right for Red Reserve, it goes really right. Look at this, 5 alive, barely a scratch on most of them. Okay, Rusty's down to half HP, but still, he got 2 kills. He's fine. So impressive. As the time will dwindle down to just the last couple of seconds. And there it is. Good work from Red Reserve. In the rounds that could send them back to the Stone Age, they do manage to stem all bleeding and manage a bit of a problem they're starting to build. If they close out the last couple of rounds here, this is a great half from them. That's a recovery and then some. If Heroic get the rest, all right, things get a little problematic. But that's yet to come. Double up still into play. Freddy still on one, Michaelelli the other. And what's the plan this time from Heroic? What look are they going to cut for us here? So much more to look at. Quicker presence towards this spot. Faster smokes. Might be a quicker hit this time. Maybe trying to catch him in a certain way, but well aware, well ready for this. Freddy already lands one towards Snappy. Michael chimes in for one. Trying to get past the double orbs, and it doesn't work. Absolute denial. 3 kills so far.
Fantastic opping here from Red Reserve. Freddy Frog just obliterates Isitag. And that's just Yugi standing. 2 points of health, all the difference. And another frag off of the grenades. So that's 3 op kills, 2 frag grenade kills. Unfortunately for Heroic, they barely spot their targets. The moment they're out in the open, they are just toppled over. So Red Reserve, as you said, starting to make something of this half. It's not too late just as of yet. Sure, they're going to need a great T side of their own, but at least they'll have the opportunity to do such. Nice bank nade off of the backboard. Double up. Double up set up once more. And importantly for Heroic, they're able to just keep buying. Thankfully, because of that extra cash. So not very many pistol rounds here from the T's.
The only issue now being is that you can see the money's pretty low. Modi has nothing to force something out with. He's got his rifle and armor, same with Yugi, but nothing beyond that. Boost gonna come over. There it is. Makes it to the other side. He can now do a little something. He does have the smoke and the molly, so he has to set the play into motion. One flash for Snappy to allow the angle for Yugi. 3 players towards Ivy, especially with Bum. Quite a bit of a pinch there, but still yet to get much of a taming towards the CTs. As they have their complete own way. Molly comes in, the flash comes out. Heroic, not sure where they want to take this. They do have some control now down by Ivy, but Freddy's eyes are watching this, expecting the boost, and he's not wrong to be feeling as such. He doesn't land the shot, but his prediction was right. And that might just play in Rusty, who's waiting off in the wings.
Rusty's going to decide to get aggressive here. He steps open. While he nets himself 1 frag, Yugi will find the trade. Last round we really see Heroic trying to exploit Ivy was back when Yugi got that M4 and almost had the ace. Luckily, this time Heroic's able to deal with the frag on the backside. That's going to be Nico with another headshot, and yes, he takes Relaxa down. So that's a double man advantage and a clutch chance for Mike Gillelli. Of course, Nico already hit, and down goes Snappy. Gets splattered towards the site. The frag grenade could do it, but it is just slightly off the mark. So, Molotov, not going to find it either. Nico still to the top side. As Yugi plays Old Bomb, Nico finds the frag. That's 3 to his name in this round, and an 8th on the board for Heroic. Excuse me, 9. Double digits, only 1 away as we hit that 15th round.
Nico had a game changer of a round. I think we see it from his perspective here. Yeah, catches 1. The follow-up was very nice. Relaxer just somehow unable to connect then in the final towards Michael Ailey. 3 AWPs for Red Reserve, as you do. Relaxer, Freddy, and Michael Ailey all going on this. Early aggression from Relaxer, forced off by the Molly. Doesn't stick around too long. Could have stuck around for a little bit longer of a peek, but that allows Molly through and for a quick fight. He doesn't get it, though. But Relaxer hasn't fully backed off here. He's going back in for this one. Molly, too aware. Great work, and there's the follow-up. B looks very vulnerable now. The rotate's coming in quickly, but not quickly enough. Michael, no! What? How did that even happen? Yugi, I guess, softened up the blow, but Michael Ailey was the one to deal the damage in the end. But it is what it is. 2-man retake. Rusty and Freddy trying to play back into it, but Heroic is so far forward. They have the ground gain. They have the bomb planted. Freddy, it's the last round. You got to do something.
Needs to leap back into this bomb site. He's going to start it off with a frag towards Modi, peeks back and takes Snappy down. So, suddenly, this looks dangerously possible. Of course, still a very uphill battle. He's grabbed himself the kit, but he's got to go here and now. He's just got to charge to the bomb site. His hands are tied. Last round of the half, and that is all she wrote. Yugi with the last frag and the 10th round here for Heroic. They double the score of their opponents. Red Reserve making the best of a tough start. But they do get sectioned out. Heroic bounce back towards the end of it and find themselves a commandeering lead.
10-5 is a very respectable scoreline, though. Red Reserve putting up a good performance here. Seeing the CT side sitting well with them, but can they make it count on the T side when they need coordination and everything else to fall into the right place? It gets a little trickier. Heroic might need a little bit of something to bolster their numbers, though. They're still not in the clear here. We've seen the individual power the Red Reserve seem to have and everything else going right for them. They're a very good team. That double AWP, it felt like it couldn't be beaten. Still just in those last couple of moments.
Bit of a breather here for Red Reserve, as Nico quenches his thirst. One thing that I find refreshing, at least with this scoreline already, is that Heroic have kind of, continued that success we saw in the group stage. So it's not as though it's just this BO1 luck. They come in to train the choice of their opponents, a good map for their opponents, and still find themselves with a very stellar start. Can they start up yet again here in the second half? It is another pistol round upon us. It is full Kevlar for Heroic.
Modi and Nico will be the two to receive this if they continue down this sort of way. Nico playing close, Modi by connector. Smokes be put in, flashes to follow, but they're going a little early to offset the timing. Modi now committed, tries to get some connection, not much, but oh, Nico, that's a shot, and a second third! Just out of reach, Freddy denies it. Rusty gets a dink out of nowhere, it feels, as a 4v3 retake.
Ooh, not going to stop him, though. He's able to find one. Relaxa does the same, so now we're back to a man advantage here in the hands of Red Reserve. Rusty able to get himself into a bit of an anchor spot as well. Wants to fight further, but with only 3 HP, he needs to be extra cautious. Madi still towards sight. He's going to duel versus Relaxa. He gets the best of him. EC tag with another, and now time is ticking quite quickly. So EC Tag's going to further this in. Again, there is no kit. He taps the bomb once, elicits the peek. Here comes Relaxa, and there he goes. Heroic with a pistol. No. Maybe? Yes. Huh?
1 second away. EC Tag, nothing more to be done. He did everything he could then, and you can see the frustration as it's the difference 1 second can make. He drew the peek out. Michael with a grin, knowing that they're back in this game. 6-10 now. The spiral does not happen. Heroic do not build that lead. They wait and see how close Red Reserve are going to bring this now. 2 rifles come out for Relaxer and Freddy. The rest onto UMPs. Michael, Rusty, and Hampus going to try and put them to use, but Deagle's on the other side. And don't write off Nico with that Deagle. He may not be the one that everyone thinks of when you say it, but he's certainly got his own reputation to build.
This is a nice little opening bout here for Red Reserve. They're very aware that a single missed defuse can make a world of difference, so it's going to give them a fresh breath of air. What do they do with it? Love to see them convert this point quite cleanly. But I'm so afraid of Heroic's pistols. They are one of those teams that can buy up into this and still just deal so much damage. I like that Modi's just trying to spot targets, and the moment he does, he falls off of this, but it's a very ambitious firefight. He is able to deal a lot of damage. Michael Ellie tagged. Rusty gets aggressive, wants to push on in. Of course, that bomb's certainly going to be planted here, and Heroic has found nothing as of yet. Very forward position from Rusty, just trying to hold them back. He's actually dodging the fight, comes back for more, and he goes down. But Relax is able to trade, so Heroic, ever close, but not quite on the retake just yet.
No, the smokes are still well into play. Relax is going to find this attack as a 3 remainders. Try and do some damage, but Red Reserve holding this together. Relaxer again on towards Modi. Hampus to find Yugi, and now it's just Nico standing. The UMP is there. And Red Reserve keeping it clean too for now. 4 alive. The repurchase can be whatever they fancy, maybe more in the form of SMGs to build up the bank, to make sure they have stable economy going forward. And Heroic might get a little bit of a nade going in. I'm not going to buy below 2k. No reason to. Couple of pistols, couple of nades. Try and do some damage. Unlikely to win a round, but with potential to do something. And there's the nuke going off. Doesn't find its target. Michael Ailey, he's waiting back. Too smart for this, and there's already a player out on B.
Yeah, that's Hampus. He's just very confident in this push. As they should be. I mean, there's nothing here for Heroic to play with. But of course, that bomb's still towards the spawn, so no commitment can be made, although the kills start to trickle in. That's 2. Sure enough, Hampus gets tagged up, sits on 36. Snappy sits in smoke. There's the kill. EC Tag finding 1, but Rusty Rex Snappy. Deagle, P250, 2v4. They're both boxed in towards CT spawn. I mean, this is now the bomb just choosing its way. It's going to go plant on A. And Red Reserve should find this next round. Not should, most certainly will. Heroic to still just wait this out now. Of course, it's guns in the next one, where Heroic want to come to life.
Let's see if anyone's willing to go chasing. I'm sure they're considering it. Michael Ailey, the first to give it a go. Nothing to be seen. Heroic might just eventually make the play happen in a second's time, try and chase someone down, get a rifle away, but it's unlikely to even happen at this point. No ninja defuse, no worries, no threats. And now you see S-Tag start to try and catch someone in the heels. Might have a little bit of a go over by Ivy. That's good, that's Rusty down. That's only a UMP though. It's not exactly everything you dreamed of, but Freddy's the real target. He gets away.
Thankful for that, of course, as he's able to keep that AK rolling. Red Reserve rolling in money at this point. Two players still above $6,000 after their reinvestment here. Freddy Frog with 5.2K. Meaning that the terrorists have a reserve of cash funds moving forward. So even if they lose a round, even if they lose some players, they're able to rebuy and really keep this comeback rolling. But this is Heroic's real chance to just stop them here and now. Give them no chance whatsoever. Maudie spotting the corner. Gonna put down that smoke and fall slightly back. Calls for reinforcements. Nico does arrive.
And it's all 5 here for Red Reserve. So full commitment. They can't back away because they wouldn't have any information elsewhere. And Rusty's... Is he going to just walk out here or is he waiting on the flashes to be set? With that amount of utility, you've got to feel they're about to put it into play, but... They hold off. The first molly comes through. And now here they go. Rusty, great opener towards Nico. Maudie the next in line, but takes so much damage. 5 HP is all he had to make a play with, but Relax is there to put him out of his misery. And the mollies light up the B site. There is nothing to be seen as already Red Reserve have this under wraps.
This is starting to look great for Red Reserve. This is going to be 9 rounds on the board. Sure enough, Heroic could fade away with still 2 players up. Those guns move to the next, but not just another round 1 from Red Reserve. More notably, another round in convincing fashion. We were just mentioning the cash, and it is going to continue to grow. Of course, Red Reserve having made some waves in online results as of late. Ranked 31st on HLTV as of right now, and obviously a couple more LAN victories would be crucial, but damage dealt here. Red Reserve no longer getting away with all the guns they had, just 2 standing at the end of this one. And at least there's an op for Heroic.
It will cost a small repurchase from Red Reserve, but it is minimal. And Heroic, I don't think they can buy anything really into this round of, like, I guess, power. You're going to get... Oh, no, they can get the double AWP pop. Tell a lie. Okay. And the UMP, famous, limited utility, but the double AWP could be a real piece in this. The money is getting spent. Heavy investment. Will this be a quick hit from Red Reserve just to add insult to injury? There it is. Michael, not exactly the smoothest of moves on the way in, but the kill is perfect. Spots another by connector. Molly goes up. The site's already theirs. This is very decisive. This is great play from Red Reserve. Again, simple, yet effective.
That's really been the story of them this weekend. Just never overcomplicating things, keeping their players together. And while that leaves them susceptible to flanks at times because they're always kind of playing as a unit, it hasn't seemed like Heroic have started to exploit it just yet. Maybe they'll get wind of what has been going on, but YHEMHB is looking to deal some more damage. That's EC Tag with the ump up close. Smoke to block off vision. Doesn't run away as of yet. Now would be a great time, and there we go. So 4 guys up here for Heroic. That double op setup should be moved forward, but this is a bit of a freebie, and all of a sudden, we got a tie game. 10 apiece. This Red Reserve have a great start to their T side. Yugi dealing a bit more damage, but it's just a needle in a haystack.
Does feel as though Heroic really haven't got an answer yet. I'm surprised there hasn't been a timeout. And there it is. Yeah, pause comes in for Heroic. Snappy going to call that through. And it is time to talk because they're being overrun quite easily, especially towards B, where Molly's normally pretty good at playing these sort of sites, but he isn't having much power towards it at the moment. Like, he's maybe spotting it out, maybe finding one, but they're not actually hindering the hit at all. They're not getting that CT side information because, well, generally, let's be honest, Red Reserve have been pretty quick on these hits. They haven't been exactly playing out a slow default at all. So a little bit tricky for Heroic to read into. Used to a very tactical game. It's not being played here today. Red Reserve are showing them no mercy, just clean, simple hits, and it works when you've got the firepower to back it up, and they certainly do. We've been seeing that in absolute droves at this point. Never looking weak on that. And now Heroic need to think of where they go next. They have this in-game leadership. They have Fetish there behind them. Certainly able to provide some sort of insight. Do they want more CT aggression towards outer? Is that the plan? Maybe try and push up towards Connector a little bit more. Maybe play up towards Ivy. But then you put yourself in there for the fight against arguably the quote-unquote better firepower. Maybe they need that. Who knows? Let's see what they come up with. It's between pretty much Snappy and Fetish to try and formulate this plan.
Still have another 40 seconds to discuss their game plan. This is now 5 consecutive rounds here for Red Reserve. A flawless T-side thus far. Still so much money for Red Reserve. I mean, they've barely had to reinvest into these rounds. So again, if or when Heroic are able to win one, it's certainly going to be Red Reserve bouncing back for multiple rounds in a row, giving them a very real chance at further success.
Modi had a great start in this, falling off a little bit. Just refocusing up.
Wake up, man.
Hey, it's a long day. This, you know, it's a best of 3. It's no more best of 1s. Doesn't need to, you know, give it all up in the first map. And I think the Dest was quite right. You know, is it that 2-0? Is it going to be a 2-1? I still put this with Heroic overall just because they have the depth. We'll see if they have that depth here. This is the first real point to prove it on. Do they have the depth to change up, to adapt, to change their game style to meet Heroic? Excuse me, to meet Red Reserve. That's the big thing here. But then Red Reserve can do something different. They're going to try and sell a bit of a fake. Or is it? They might just commit down through pop. No, they are. Rusty's already found S-Tag. This is big. Hamper's hindered by the flash, but still makes it out. And down by Ivy. The play continues, but it's Rusty getting the bomb plant, and Heroic are put on notice here.
Nico's going to feel some heat here. Fire, frags all around him. Just utility aplenty from Red Reserve. They're just chucking everything out. And this is going to give us a little bit of space here for Rusty to play with, although Modi will best him. So the man advantage found, but Hampus able to swing it with one. Snappy's op reigns supreme, and that's another kill to the side of Heroic. The retake rolling forward. Michaelelli falling back. Relaxa as well in cover, but the smoke going to cover the bomb as time quickly ticks. Michaelelli 4 points of health. This is going to be one player on it. They line up, and Red Reserve with another one take back their lead. It has been a very long time, if ever we have seen it. No, we haven't. So, new territory for Red Reserve. Can they hang on?
Relaxed's play here was so nice to the timing as well. As soon as he knew the attention was going to be towards Michaelelli, he takes the fight then. Keeps it going their way. 11-10 now, Red Reserve, as said, in the driving seat. Relaxer, quick flash out towards B, but no further pressing towards it. A different pace here from the T side, of course. And Heroic not really able to kind of execute the plan they may have come up with during that pause, just purely due to the pace coming out from Red Reserve. Set piece ready to be put through. First real default we're seeing from Red Reserve as well. No massive swing or quick hit to either side. Taking their time.
Nicely done. Yugi takes advantage of the smoke grenade to find Hampus. Hinders the push towards the top of the brown halls, and now, of course, this allows for Modi to peek into it. So, with further information gained, Heroic can justify this 4-man stack on A. They may have just found a solution. But it's not done yet. EC Tag pushed up in the T-Con. Rusty on the other side, about to step into his death. That's now a 5v3 with the entirety of Red Reserve trying to filter out from Pop Dog. Certainly Relaxa finding one will help, but it's still the 4-on-2, and they're pinned in. They've got nowhere to go, and only 30 seconds to leave. So Molotovs, again, just trying to prevent the peak, but Red Reserve, time is ticking.
Now they've lost sight on these guys, so there's a worry that it could be a B hit coming in. That's why you're going to see Yugi back over to this. It's not, oh god, don't walk into it. Now they know the stack was there. The spray comes in and Nico evens it up. But you could see the cogs turning in the heads of the Heroic side, just trying to work out where are they going. Okay, they've got time now to go back up ladder, all the way back around towards B. Could have been a disaster on that front, but the aggression working out then. S-Tag's just going to be working up towards connector, gets the kill, finds the angle, can't quite fall back off it, but Nico is there to trade out effectively. So with the money built up very nicely for Red Reserve, however, you got to feel that they're still in a very good position. They might just fall back into, you know, this kind of simple hits, no need to default around it, just commit off the back of it as a collective, and we'll see if they go for it now.
Little pop flash indicates the hit. Maudie falls further back. So now at least he's able to just hold on to some real estate, hang on until his teammates arrive. But he has been spotted and dealt damage. Sits on 54 as Rusty yet again looks to get aggressive. We've seen him have impact here, and he's going to start it off with yet another frag. That's Maudie down, and Rusty with another through the smoke as it pops. 5v3, great look for them.
Good off-spawn positions as well now. I think Heroic need saving. They are. They're already out of there. The double orbs are too valuable to them. It's time to back away and find some safety. And as said, for Red Reserve, it seems that when they try and do something a little bit more complex, a little bit trickier, a little bit more unique, they don't quite have that same power. That was the one round they lost. But you go back to those nice simplistic hits that depend on just, you know, the raw power they have. Really nice stuff. This tag does go down in the end. Takes one with him, but no more. As really, this has been a little bit lacking thus far on the CT side from Heroic. I was hoping we might see a bit more from this, but Rusty, what a play here. The follow-up was just great.
Last bullet as well. He wasn't going to go for the full commitment because he didn't want to get sprayed himself, but all it takes is one off of the AK, and he hits it. So, Heroic, double op setup with the pistols in between. Clearly at a disadvantage versus Red Reserve. But a disadvantage hasn't stopped Heroic before. Yugi, with that one M4, did so much work. Well, now he has one of two ops. But it's Michaelelli prying for this opening frag as they're able to cross one player over. There should be a utility to the right if need be. Regardless of what happens next, it's this very passive of a setup to begin with.
Yeah, it looks like a split towards A. 2 through Pop, 3 through Ivy. So basically down to S-Tag to hit at least a shot if they come out through Pop. We'll see how far they get here. Big swing factor is going to be Snappy. Yugi not around. Rusty testing the waters. Smoke comes in. Snappy unable to see now. Doesn't want to give away the game, but gets caught by the flash, and the T-side are out. S-Tag blind as well. Nico going to have to play on the very verge of that smoke. Find some sort of respite, but the T's are everywhere.
He's just going to camp on the other side, though. Hampus is able to find one frag. That's a pistol down. Bomb planting on the A site. Here comes Nico. He's going to get the backstab and the AK, but Rusty hits the headshot. So we've got 25 seconds left to play with. Rusty wants the plant. Hell of a surprise as the knife comes out, but that's Snappy with another. All of a sudden, we're back to the 3v3. This is still winnable from Heroic. They could tie at 12. 3 separate directions, but Michaelelli shuts down one. Snappy finds a response, but he also finds himself alone, so his life now so valuable that he's just going to retreat. He wants to move that op forward, and he will forfeit a 13th round onto the side of Red Reserve.
A good attempt from Snappy there, but you've got to know when your days are numbered. You've got to walk away from it, but Michaelelli was the linchpin in holding that retake in such a vital position. He goes down. The last two players are very isolated. They could have maybe worked it out, but he stands tall. But Relaxer, what a performance from this guy again. I thought it was a bit of a one-off. We saw, Freddie having moments, Rusty having games too, but he has made this look consistent now. He's having a real tear through this tournament. Great performance from the man on Red Reserve. Taking on the likes of Heroic here. 13-11 now. It's looking far more likely as Nico found Freddy as he tried to plant, but instantly got traded on. And a good purchase for Heroic, but not great. They still need rounds on the board here, and it's getting a little bit scary. This is looking like Red Reserve are going to win at least map 1.
That puts everything in question. Remember, Mirage, of course, a solid map for both teams. Very similar to the map pool between Envious and Nip. But here comes the trade frag as the bomb goes down. Nico able to secure it, or at least keep eyes on, as Red Reserve look to already come back in. Snappy gonna get sectioned off by his very own smoke. Nico towards the site. He's able to take another, and that's the bomb drop yet again. So, Heroic with a very real chance to win this round. But do not count them out. Red Reserve already finding further success, and Mike Gillelli takes the next. It's Maudie responding back. Can he clutch? There's a player to the right and a man up front. He's inside the smoke. They're ever so close, but now they have walked by him. Mike Gillelli almost gets out of dodge, but instead he's sent to the nether. That's going to be Heroic with another round.
How's the money now staying together for the Red Reserve side? It might start to hinder them a little bit. They still can get a buy, of course. That's still fine, but it's getting to the end of its kind of, I guess, ability here. You're down to a Tech 9 on Hampus now. This could be that kind of all-in B hit. I just send Hampus on the late lurk around. We'll see what they go for. Double orbs, though. Something that Heroic has. Hashtag doesn't hear them going B. No steps, no sound, no cues given away. A double stack towards the higher side of B. One smoke goes in towards Pop. Relaxer working his way up. The smokes and the flash is not so effective if you're playing up on that higher balcony area, but harder to sustain on. See how well it fares for them. Modi on the site. Yugi here as well. Here we go. The lower ramp gets the test. Good spray from Modi there. 2 kills. Left Michael Ailey very, very alone here. Hampus is on that late lurk around. Did not expect that angle from Nico. And now Hampus, if they'd maybe broken through, could have caught them right in the back. But sadly now, the longer this goes on, the more they realize, oh, he's probably on the late lurk, probably on the flank, and unable to get a gun. This makes it very tricky for Hampus to do anything with.
It's making noise as well now, so the man up close knows he is certainly here. Not going to stop him. Nico's skull gets shattered. Hampus continues in. And he's actually going to get himself an M4, so all of a sudden he's a very real threat, and he's going to chase down this frag. But it costs him. Snappy shuts him down. There we have it, 13 apiece. Anybody's game yet again. Heroic maybe waiting towards the later portion of this half to really kick things into gear. But that was a nice hold towards ramp, and more notably, Yugi able to secure Maudie's position by taking the man off of the upper hall.
And thankfully for Heroic, that was a clean round, and it had to be. You can see the money left over. It wasn't great. They wouldn't have been able to fashion this buy together if they did lose out any more in that last round. I think even the player who dropped was dropped out this round too. So again, got to be a little bit aware of the money situation on Heroic. It's still very fragile at this point. Red Reserve know they need to do damage. You can see that's why Hampus was so hell-bent on really doing work, even though the round was near on impossible. Modi, normally playing this close. It didn't work out well last time. Surely this time doesn't get caught. Spots him, tagged. Very quick response from Red Reserve. Don't seem like they miss much. And let's see that crossfire kick in for Heroic, or do they get overwhelmed by the Swedes?
That's the thing. Heroic have yet to rotate, despite having 3 players on A and not hearing a single thing. It's going to be up to just these 2. Nico spraying them down, making mincemeat of the offense as they just flood the bomb site. A waterfall of death crashes down to B, as Red Reserve will now lose their lead. Heroic on 14.
It's not over yet, though. Red Reserve can come right back into this. Just means a little bit more money sat on the Heroic side. They have a little bit more buffer, but not by a great margin. But still, at 14, you just want that one more on the board, then at least, as you like to highlight, it secures you overtime. It gets you that much. Let's see what the plan is now for Red Reserve. Have they run out of ideas? Have they hit that wall? Or is there still more to be seen from these boys? Yugi. Oh, this is brave. He sees one. Can he escape in time? He knows he's under pressure. The shots come in. He just about gets away with his life. You can see the nade comes out, trying to catch the tease, trying to over-exude and extend on Ivy. Not the case.
One of those moments where if Yugi gets the kill, it's crucial. If he goes down in his retreat, even better for Red Reserve. Neither of those situations unfold. Instead, Yugi's afforded the chance to fall further back. We do see Red Reserve just using further utility. Smoke to the left, fire to the right, and terrorists to the middle. 3 players over on Ivy's side, 1 on T-Con, 1 on Pop. So a 3-pronged assault prepared prepared to strike the A site.
But with this double AWP, they've been able to loosen up the rotate, right? So Snappy can now just solo out on B for a good long while. It can mean that Moddy's now sent over to support from this angle. Really, really important to have those additional players in the right place. They're being outdone by this. But if the bomb doesn't commit here, you're in trouble. But you've got the kind of split coming in. That's gonna be Relaxer coming through as well. But Nico now flashed up, has to find them. He sees them. Yuki's there. Nico strikes. Nico again finds another. Big performance, but where's Rusty? We know this guy is a bit of a hitter at this point. One to the left, one to the right. Safety from the right, finds the one on the left. We're back down to a 2v2.
Rusty's looking for more as well, but down he goes. Moddy with the frag, so Relaxa needs to clutch. He's got himself 10 seconds, wants to plant. He taps it once and looks to duel. Over towards Connector is one, but Moddy swings out and takes Heroic to 15. It was looking very dire for Heroic, but they've been able to, at the very least, again, secure this overtime. This is crucial, because even if they flub it, these next 2 rounds, this game's not over yet. Red Reserve hitting a bit of a wall, not just in the form of score, but also in their buy. Double Tech-9 and the Deagle with an AK and an ump. Slight bit of utility. And a double up setup for Heroic.
Straight down. Oh, through pop we go. 2 players there. Aztec didn't expect it. He did the nade, but he kind of picked a little bit lazily almost. Didn't quite have the fire to it. Snappy now might find a challenge down Ivy. There's a player on the other side. Doesn't get the fight through, and Red Reserve hit the brakes. 4 and 5, CTs like to play back in, trying to even the odds. It becomes a bit of a desire for them. Not to get it this time. You see Moddy here. Just needs to wait. He's just holding information, essentially. He's the one who allows those 3 players to feel confident at A, and he continues to do that. Great stuff from Moddy. The lurk gets denied. No play for Relaxer this time. Snappy, though, having to commit. A little bit of a touch from the molly, so gives away his position, hence the smoke and the flash and everything else that he's putting down here in the molly himself. And again, Red Reserve wait this out. The nade comes through. It's on a knife's edge. Snappy finds Rusty. This is still 3 players alive. Freddy is the one who can change it all, but Snappy's there. Hampus breaks in. It's a 2v3 advantage to Heroic.
At least now the op in the hand of the AK as well. Back to the 2v2, turn 2v1. Mike Kilele spotting targets, but also on the retreat. Let's see, 25 seconds left to play. What's he gonna do? Moves back up the ladder. He's gonna try to flank all the way around. Even if he gets to the CT side, he's gonna have to start to walk, or they're gonna know exactly what's happening here. He's clearing the B bomb site.
He doesn't have the bomb. He thought he had the bomb.
Oh.
Oh, GG just got right, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he thought he had the bomb. That's pretty unfortunate. You got to feel for them in that situation in a way, but you can see how tense these situations are. This will be the moment the Heroic will win map 1. 16-13. It's certainly not quite the Kusta level of play, but yeah, a little awkward there at the end. But it is what it is. High pressure situations, it does allow you to make these small mistakes, but they do add up. But that was a round that surely looked like it was Heroic's anyway.
Done is the first map. Again, Train was the question mark. Train was the chance for Red Reserve, and they did put up that fight, so props to them. They come up short at the final hurdle. I mean, that T-side looks so strong. Heroic able to figure them out. Again, the depth of Heroic, able to adapt, able to hold over on Ivy. That one round with Nico to the top of the green train, really just asserting himself. It was nice to watch. Heroic showing that little extra bit of pressure. So, map number 2 up next as the first one's come to a close.
Overpass is the one on the horizon. Do you think it's going to be 2-0 now?
Absolutely. With what we saw of Heroic on Overpass, It was so good. I mean, like you said it yourself, I'd say best. It's a whole different type of Counter-Strike.
Well, we're going to find out after the break if there's a chance for Red Reserve. You've got to feel there's a moment of lapse in judgment throughout those couple of closing rounds there, sadly. But we'll be back after the break, so do stay tuned.